Foot massage. Oh, that doesn't play nearly loud enough. I might want to.
Yeah. Oh, I saw that earlier today. It was pretty funny.
Jones barbecue and foot massage. I really want to know if that place is real.
It's real.
Is it really? Have you been there?
It's real. It's there, yeah.
Is it really? People keep telling me it's not real, and I'm like,
well, it's real, man. I mean, that's right up there with Moo and Oink, man.
Yeah, but Moo and Oink is gone too.
Moo and Oink's not gone. Moo and Oink's still around. Yeah.
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 I never see the commercials anymore.
Moo and Oink?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar.
You're not familiar with Moo and Oink?
Negative.
Wow. That's kind of
Moo and Oink is like Southside Food Institution, man. Moo and Oink.
It's not just South. They used to be like.
Moo and Oink.
Yeah.
I live a sheltered life in the suburbs turned cornfields.
No, they were on the Cartoon Channel at times. Like
They did some stuff
day.
on. They did a lot of stuff on like like UHF.
Yeah.
But you know,
it's like they couldn't come up with a better name for a grocery store. Moo and Oink. There you go.
Well, we had Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah, it's kind of like Piggly Wiggly. Well, it's not exactly like Piggly Wiggly.
Not exactly all Piggly Wiggly.
It's kind of like a Southside Chicago Piggly Wiggly.
It's like those Chicago in-jokes, like Solo Seattle and Chevrolet, where you always save more money.
Save more money. Yeah.
Right.
By the way, I believe is Empire national?
It's an 800 number.
Well, it didn't used to be national when I was a kid, but it's like everybody seems to know what Empire is.
Lyman Ford, man.
I mean, there were a couple times like on like Facebook posts where there are people who aren't Chicago, and they're like, yeah, here's a phone number for that. I'm like 588-2300, and everybody's like, dude, that's Empire. Yeah, I know.
Empire, yeah.
I tried. Like, can I get a Bristol Rug shampoo or a Michael Jordan basketball, please? Please.
I'm on their website, and yeah, they still have the little dude. He's the eye in the Empire, but it's an 800 number, so it could be.
Is it? Yeah, now it's an 800 number. When I was a kid, it was not an 800 number. It was just 588-2300.
Empire.
Yeah.
Today.
That guy's dead too.
Yeah, he's long dead.
They don't even advertise.
Well, he's been long gone, but they still use the one word today in the commercial off of his voice.
You know, I haven't seen a commercial for them in a long time.
I see it occasionally. I mean, they seem to run it more on like channels like Cozy TV or Me TV and that type of stuff. I mean,
maybe.
I like the mainstream television, station.
Well, like they used to run it on cable, and it's like, okay, they don't run it on the cable channels anymore. It's really weird.
It's odd. I mean, I'm sure Empire now is probably lost on a lot of people. It's everybody now is like United Auto Insurance.
Yeah, that too. Or Eagle or.
Oh, Eagle! I remember. What's that? Look at those low rates. I've got something for you.
Yeah, you know who that was?
Who?
That was, what's her name? From the Man Cow Show.
Oh, yeah?
That was, the sidekick. What was her name?
No.
I want to say Irma, but I don't think it's Irma.
No.
It was the girl who was the Cuban bombshell, and Man Cow would talk her up like she's like the hottest thing on the planet. And I'll never forget because I went to like a job fair and she was there, and I'm like, that's her. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not like she's not pretty, but I was like the way Man Cow would talk about her on the radio. I was expecting her to be like on a scale of 1 to 10 to be like a 25, and she was more like how do I say like a 6.
Okay.
I mean, her breasts. Well, I mean, her boobs were huge, but otherwise it was like, wow, really?
Yeah, well, considering the fact that, a lot of the stuff that Man Cow would talk about is just, a lot of it was, exaggerated at best.
Yes. Yeah.
That was just, I mean, you're talking about a guy who sat there and jacked off to fucking Howard Stern cassettes in the 1980s, you're kind of like, all right.
Hey, hold on a second. Didn't we all jack off to Night Howard Stern cassettes in the 1980s at some
No.
point?
No, I no.
Not I.
If I jacked off to anything, it was Seek-Up videos, you know?
Okay. Well, once in a while,
Speaking of which, Bill Cosby says he has no regrets.
What?
What?
Where did that come from?
No, just comedy cassettes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And,
I still only own one comedy. I only own one cassette right now. The only cassette I own is Robin Williams Live at the Met.
I had
From 86.
Yeah, I had that tape.
Me too.
I still have it. It's still in my car. I have yet to listen to it in years, but it's like in my cassette player, like just sitting there like, okay, at some point if I feel like listening to it.
Well, and the thing about, Robin Williams' comedy, it weathers well for whatever reason. It's not like, like say George Carlin. George Carlin tends to be more topical and apolitical, whereas, Robin Williams is just like, he would just run amok. Kind of like
Carlin's stuff. Hold a second. Carlin's stuff is pretty.
Yeah, that stuff holds up, man.
That stuff holds up. Like some of the stuff now, like with the environment.
Like the earlier stuff, like the late 70s, early 80s, when you do like wordplay.
Oh yeah, the 730 words you can't say on television was a good one.
Right.
He also did the Hippy Dippy Weatherman, which was really cool. Wonderful Wino, which is kind of like his golden era of some of his later 60s, early 70s work.
Is it bad that I admit that my entire feeling and thought on environmentalism and in the environment is based on a George Carlin bit?
No,
because it is. It really is.
You gotta take that. A lot of comedy back then was very, pop culture and trendy and was of the substance of what was happening at the time. And up until throw me a bone, maybe like the last 10 years, maybe a lot of self-censoring situations have happened because of the whole political correctness thing now, because it's like, you can't say that. No, you can't say that. You can't say that either. Well,
Chappelle's trying to turn that around.
Well, yeah,
a lot of people are trying to turn that around.
Yeah.
The problem,
which I'm glad they're doing, because you know what? I feel that I think the most voyeuristic of all the arts is comedy, and it's supposed to, kind of not only make you laugh but get you to think, or just gives you a moment where you could be, the person that says, well, he just said what I was feeling or what I was thinking,
Uh-huh.
But it's tough. I mean, Jerry Seinfeld said it best. He goes, the days of the reign of free comedy speech will be numbered soon enough, and it is. But I'm glad Chappelle is going out there and doing that sort of thing on like cable television, or if you watch the specials. Yeah, there's still a percentage of things that still can be addressed without offending, but I think more people are offended now than I think they've ever been, maybe 10 or so years ago, maybe even longer than that. But it's just sad that we can't just let our hair down. Okay, in fact, a good example of that was I was on Instagram, and
with your shirt on, right?
Yes, with my shirt on. and saucy. I like saucy postcards.
It's like Ivan be time to go on Instagram. Strip.
Yeah, really.
Well, yeah. Why not?
Yeah. That's why we don't have listeners.
Sometimes you just gotta do the shit. You know what I mean? You just gotta do the
Come
shit.
on.
Why not?
Welcome back, Ivan. Glad to have you back to the show.
Yes.
I like being naked. What the fuck? I mean,
Okay. Just because you like being naked
wait till you
doesn't mean
we. I got a photo session coming up. So wait till I post the pictures on our page.
What?
No.
I got a photo session coming
What
up.
Wait, stop. What kind of photo session?
It's just me and my friend Allison. Hi, Allison, honey. And great photographer. She's with Funky Bitch Photography, and she's our
bitch photography.
Yeah, and she's our lens girl, and she takes all these great pictures. And me and her were talking, and we came up with some ideas for some actual publicity shots. And I said, yeah, sure, I'm game for any damn thing. So yeah, so I'm not going to go any.
Again, you do realize these have to be publicity shots, right?
Well, yes, they're publicity shots,
they're
dude.
Shots that people are going to actually want to
no
put
nudes,
up,
Ivan.
I'm not going to be nude, but you're going to get the idea.
You're not going to be wearing a lot of clothes either.
You know, I'm going to give you the illusion that I'm naked.
One strategically placed record.
Well, I actually have a couple of test shots I could send over.
Well, he's only going to need a 45, I think.
Oh.
Would that be through the hole or not?
Oh, hey.
Oh, okay.
Where do you want to go with that?
Hey, welcome to the Squares Roundtable podcast.
How many can I hold at the end? All right.
Episode 78. I can hold a 78.
Okay, thank you. At least, well, you know what? It's not a bad thing. If I hold a 45, it is 7 inches. If I hold a 78, it's 10. So at least I can really fool some people with that.
Well, it's all about the width.
What now?
It's all about the width.
It's all about the width. It's not the size of the boat. It's the motion of the ocean.
Size matters not.
Yeah. Remember, only a green Muppet said that. We should trust him at all.
So, Ivan, what have you been up to, man? How you been?
I've been doing good, feeling better since this wicked what the fuck this sickness that's been going around for the last few weeks. But finally, I think I've outrun it with a large amount of medication and rest and all manner of good things. But yeah, I'm feeling much better now, and so far so good. Getting out my stretch pants because Thanksgiving is only a few days away, and I'm looking forward to filling up my fat pants, or should I say my even fatter pants, because I'm already fat. So, and I'm uncomfortable in my skin, so I don't give a fuck.
Are you going to fast before Thanksgiving?
Am I going to fast before Thanksgiving? Probably won't eat anything after 12 noon on Wednesday.
Okay. That's okay. Neither were the Bears.
Pardon me?
Nothing.
With the Bears?
The Bears are playing at, I think, 11 on Thursday.
Who gives a shit about the Bears? Who gives a shit about the Bears, man?
They won, yay! They beat the Giants, yay!
Yay!
Okay, I'll get yay. That's all you're getting out of me, damn it.
Yeah. So what have you been doing, man? You had your gigs? No, you hadn't have to cancel any because you're sick, right?
Well, I had to cancel a few gigs when I was ill last week, but over the weekend, actually during the week, I was helping John over at Electric Jungle and, just getting things together and getting things polished and prim for this wonderful party for this woman named Pamela, who saw us over at the Jungle a while back and said, hey, I really would like to do my 52nd birthday party here. And she came with all of her friends. It was a wonderful, private event.
You didn't play the chicken dance, did you?
Oh, you crazy chicken dance. It's bullshit chicken dance. Fuck that chicken dance. Anyway, all I can say...
How about the wobble? Did you play the wobble?
No, we didn't play the fucking wobble either. None of that bullshit shit.
The electric slide?
No. No slide. No, nobody slid. Nobody, did the cha-cha. Nobody did the chicken dance. Nobody did the fucking hokey pokey or whatever the fuck they...
No Macarena, I take it either.
What now?
That is so 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody does that shit much anymore. I mean,
okay.
the last few weddings I actually did incorporated, a song list curated by me, which is amazing all in and of itself because these are people who saw me play in the clubs, and then after they would see me play, well, do you want anything different? No. Play what you do in the club. That's what I want. That's what I'm paying you for. That's great because I remember when I used to be the wedding DJ and all the bullshit that's involved in all that. I'm glad I walked away from that fucked up shit. I mean, I would
play the chicken dance.
You can grab him on the you can grab him on the ass, you can grab him by the dick, tap, 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 you can grab him by the bun, you can grab him by the
I don't think that's how it goes.
That's how I put it in my head, so.
Yeah, well.
Ivan's improvised lyrics to the chicken dance.
Yeah, I'm doing it again. Yeah. I'm doing it again. But we did this party and, me and Allison and John, we all chipped in playing our regular sets, our music, our 45s and our LPs and things like that, and they had a great time. And
Good.
There was wine. It
was kind of like back in the day, Mike, back in the Stone Age when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That was we had the wine and the trays and the fruit and all the great stuff that they bring to these type of things. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And
wine and the trays and the fruit. What is this, Caligula?
Yeah, no.
We had wine and we had trays with fruit. We had grapes. We had berries.
What else did you have?
We had strawberries. We had like 6 or 7 different cheeses. We had 5 or 6 different types of meat. We had crackers, all manner of different types of crackers, and and like I said,
well, I got a question. What were you doing there? Because that doesn't sound like your kind of gig.
Oh, that is my kind of gig. I mean that's I do all manner of things. I mean,
just like a private function. That's all.
It was a private function. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this isn't like something I do out in the club where I'm busy. When I'm busy, What?
I could seriously see you walking up to the tray going, "Where's the real food? What's all this finger food crap?"
As a matter of fact, I did do some Mediterranean food. We ordered some Mediterranean food, and we did have
Mediterranean. Okay, that's
Mediterranean.
Not like subterranean.
Yeah.
No, not subterranean. Mediterranean. And of that Mediterranean food with the dill rice and the wonderful ingredients that they put in the rice, and they had like a couple of skewers of beef and chicken, and oh man, it was just so good. Yeah, so no, me and John and Allison, we ate quite well, and of course whatever was available, well, everybody helped themselves to that.
How many people, Ivan?
I want to say 45, maybe 50.
That's cool. That's a decent.
Yeah, it was a good sized little thing, and everybody had a great time. Took lots of pictures, and get this, we even had somebody propose. Somebody proposed marriage on that party that night.
Congratulations to you and Julie.
No.
Amazing.
What?
No, I'm sorry. I'm not going down the aisle for the third one. No, sorry. No offense, but
Well, I think Julie would be just upset with the fact that you're just not willing to go down.
Well, I go down every other thing, but as far as I go down the aisle, that's another story. But you
do realize how long you been with Julie?
I'll be with Julie 5 years, June 19th.
You better double check about common law in Illinois.
That's about 4.5. So okay.
No, I'm already common law married under the state of Illinois. It's 3 years.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, so she already gets half.
Well, no, not really. No, she don't get half.
Okay. Well, so you had that.
She didn't get.
Go ahead, Ivan.
Except for laundry.
You keep thinking that.
But no, I know this. I have command.
I hope you have a all I can say is
fucked up twice already. And if I
hope you have a prenup for
times I fucked up, I better learn how to do something better, man.
I hope you have the prenup for the records.
Oh no, believe me, the records don't even play a part in this at all. Oh no. Nope.
All right, Julie,
maybe in your marriage, but not in mine.
Take it for everything, Julie.
When you get there.
I'm not getting married. Not anytime soon.
So, what else you been up to, Ivan? What
else have been up to? Okay, getting back to the moderator.
Yeah.
Let's see. Aside from the party and then recuperating from the party, which I'm still doing. Because man, we partied hard, man. It was really good. It was a really good party. And then Sunday, we just kind of lounged around, kind of did a whole lot of nothing. Then today Julie went back home to teach her class and to be with her daughter and everything. She's going to her family for Thanksgiving. I'm going to my niece for Thanksgiving for the first time ever. She's having Thanksgiving at her house. So everybody's meeting over there this Thursday, so I'm looking forward to that. Soraya and I are going to be going over there and doing that, so that's going to be fun. And let's see. Wednesday, I may or may not be called into service for the pop-up over at Logan Arcade, depending on the disc jockeys that may or may not spend that day. I don't know. I'll find out probably tomorrow.
It's a pop-over.
Yeah, it's a pop-up. I mean, what other place do you know where you could go to an arcade, drink a beer, play pinball, play video games, and buy records and listen to a DJ? Wow. It's a marvelous thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a marvelous thing. And the Toys That Made Up thing, made us thing that happened, that I thought it was going to be the following Friday. Actually happened the past Friday. And
it was
I
2
guess
Fridays ago, yeah.
So they were busy showing all the new episodes and everything, and then of course they had toys available for, everyone to enjoy and to purchase and things like that. So, and then I
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think it vibrates?
Not those kind of
Not
toys.
those kind, no.
No, not those kind of toys. Unless it's Tolboy the Eighth Man from '66, he vibrates. But
Donatello, I need you.
I think there's one line of wrestler figures that did vibrate, Jeff.
Yes,
Okay.
I do remember that.
They talked about that on the one episode, the wrestling figures episode.
Did you have wrestling figures that vibrate? Okay, there you go.
Oh yeah!
Man, I need you.
Let me slap into the Slim Jim. Yeah!
Brother, what you gonna do when Hogan vibrates on you?
Ooh, going down for the crotch. Yeah! Oh boy, that'd be exciting. There is.
I bet it would.
There is a cartoon that actually portrays that in the film. Okay, it was a bunch of rogue animators, that
That's
from
a good band.
they were rogue animators from Hanna-Barbera and from Disney, and they decided to get together and put out this filthy take on Mother Goose. And okay, there is a scene where, all right, Jack and the Beanstalk goes up there to the castle up in the sky, and well, it leads like Jack has got a lady friend, and they found Jack quite amusing, so they decided they were going to throw Jack down into the well. They've poisoned the watering hole. And, and I saw this, and I didn't know if I wanted to laugh or be in shock, but it was,
Oh boy.
it was the most warped thing I'd ever seen in my life.
It's kind of cringeworthy to me.
Really?
It's
That
like, well,
or
it's
the
that 70s porn. Well, some of it was live action, some of it was animated.
Yeah, it was outside.
Better or worse than the Star Wars Christmas special?
Nothing to
Not
be
as bad as, but Star Wars Holiday Special, not Christmas Special. It was a holiday special.
Sorry.
Happy Life Day, Jeff.
Oh, yes.
No, the Star Wars Holiday Special was good, bad in a good way. This was not good.
Do you think what's his name? John Favreau wants to bring that back?
Yes,
He
Why?
wants to do it a holiday special.
he wants a Star Wars Holiday
I'm
Special.
all for it.
He did in episode 1. They did mention Life Day.
Did they really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Life Day?
Yeah.
God. By the way, Baby Groot's probably got to be pissed off at Baby Yoda.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Like,
even like
hold my
see,
beer.
this show. It's like I have a niece who like doesn't give two shits about Star Wars. She came over the other day and she's like, "Uncle Mike, I want to watch The Mandalorian. I'm watching all these Baby Yoda memes, and it is so cute. I need a Baby Yoda. You know the toys. If there's a Baby Yoda toy that comes out somewhere, I want it." I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But is there such an animal?
The
I
toy's
have
coming.
not been paying attention.
The Baby Yoda toy is coming. It's not.
How are you
So,
on Instagram?
here we go. Here we
How are
go.
you on
Once
Instagram
again,
and
taking
not-
an
you're not-
You got two
enterprise.
people
Yoda.
talking at the same time, dudes. You gotta either put on headphones or pay attention, dude.
I will
Come on.
concede. Jeff, go ahead.
We're trying to get some kind of organization going on here.
Why? We never organized.
Why start now? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, really. Why start now?
But listen, I mean, okay, you're the moderator, Mike, so, okay, I concede to Jeff.
I'm the
Go ahead.
commander. I'm the
Well,
I'm
no,
the
I was going to
commander.
say, you've been on Instagram all the time. How have you not seen the Baby Yoda stuff?
It's not on his feed.
It's not on your feed. It's on everybody's feed.
It's not on Ivan's feed.
What?
Really?
Baby Yoda?
Yeah.
I know what Baby Yoda is. I see the memes. I've seen it. I just asked you if there's going to be an actual toy about it.
Eventually, yes, because
Yeah,
Disney
well, apparently.
is smart.
Okay, so here we go again. We're going to sit there and babyfy yet another enterprise. When are they ever going to stop doing this shit?
Never.
You know, we babyfied the Flintstones. We babyfied.
No, it's not like the Flintstone kids, Ivan.
Well,
It's
that's
not
what
like just take.
me.
This is another one of Yoda's race. It's not Yoda himself that's baby. We're just calling it Baby Yoda because we have no idea what his race is.
Or his-
Because there's somebody who's played role-playing games for...
Baby Yoda. I mean,
You know what's really funny? As somebody who's played Star Wars role-playing for 20-plus years, I'm telling you right now, there's no source material out there for what the fuck Yoda is. None. None. They do not list what race he is. Nothing.
so they're going to build this shit from scratch, right?
Apparently,
Well-
that's what they're doing.
Right.
Okay.
It's the first time we've ever seen anything else that looks like Yoda. So it's like everybody's like, everybody's calling it Baby Yoda. Well, it's not Yoda. Well, yeah, okay, but we don't know what else to call it because we don't know what it is.
Yeah, because we have a name. We haven't got a name for it.
And this series takes place after Return of the Jedi, so the Yoda we know and love is dead.
Jedi.
He's
Right.
passed on. He's one with the Force, and the Force is
Okay.
with him,
Yeah.
just like the blind guy.
Yeah.
There's one with the Force. Okay. It's okay. I mean, I'm just thinking.
you're right.
Okay,
The
come up with-
it's the cutest thing ever right now.
okay, yeah, we got Baby Yoda. Then they're gonna come up with Baby Jabba the Slut and whatever else they're gonna come up with, and all this other shit.
I don't think Baby Jabba the Hutt would work.
No,
You don't think Baby
I don't
Jabba
think-
the Hutt would work?
no, he's
I
not
don't
very
think Baby
cuddly.
Hutt's- Yeah, I don't think Baby Hutt would work at all.
I think that would be kind of cool, just having like something you can put on a shelf, You see that? There's my slut. There's my Jabba the Hutt right over there.
Mhm.
It would be just like, what the fuck is that, Ivan?
So how's your week, Jeff? How you been?
How
My
you been?
week?
How much-
Let's see. What happened this week? Watched
Nothing.
Survivor Series last night on the WWE Network.
Alright.
It was all right. It was a decent show. Not bad. Trying to think, what else did I do this week? Wow. It's one of those weeks where I'm like, what did I do? Oh, I don't know.
Did nothing.
Yeah, it feels like it. Well, I mean, like I said, as usual, watch too much TV. But other than that, it's been kind of a quiet week. Just kind of getting ready for Thanksgiving, I guess. And then, next weekend, this coming weekend, I'm at a gaming convention. So, well, that'll be worthwhile. And then we'll go from there.
Ooh.
But it's been kind of a quiet week. So.
Yeah.
I did find that Carlin piece that I was talking about from earlier.
Oh, okay. Did you?
This is why this is why Carlin is my god when it comes to environmentalism. He's talking about here. I'll quote this here. Save the planet. What? Are these fucking people kidding me? Save the planet. We don't even know how to take care of ourselves. We even learn how to care for one another. We're going to save the fucking planet.
It's true.
He talks about, he's like, It's like people are trying to make the world safe for their Volvos. Besides, environmentalists don't give a shit about the planet. They don't care about the planet. Not in the abstract. They don't. You know what they're interested in? A clean place to live. Their own habitat. They're worried about someday. They're worried that someday in the future they might be personally inconvenienced. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Then he starts talking about how maybe the planet just didn't want us. They just wanted plastic, so that's why it created us. So, yeah, like I said, after hearing that, I was just like, yeah, I'm buying the whole Carlin thing.
But and Carlin is not off about that when you think about it, because if people really gave a shit, they'd probably be more involved about it than they allegedly are now. And I saw a meme on Facebook where it was like 3 fishes. The circle of life, the little fish is getting eaten by the medium fish, the medium fish is getting eaten by the large fish. Well, the large fish is about to be taken over by a big fat fish. So, and I mean that's how this whole thing has gotten. But if people were so concerned about all this shit, why wasn't more done a long time ago until it's gotten to this proportion where everything is, now futile? Oh yeah, here's our thing for now. Paper straws.
Yeah, you heard about what happened at Yale last week, Jeff?
Yeah, I heard about that.
About how the kids, they disrupted the game for it was about an hour or something?
I think they ended up postponing the game.
Yeah, because they wanted to have their march. And
yeah, I mean, the only thing is I hate to say it, the only thing that's interesting to me about that is that they have a point. I mean, how often are you going to pay attention to what goes on at Yale and Harvard in terms of, anything on TV? So, okay, fine. I get it. At the same time, it's like, come on. Seriously? I don't know. I'm at that point with it all. What about you, Mike? What's been going on with you this week?
It's been kind of crazy. We've, of course, went over to a friend's house, and they were like, hey, we got 3 new cats. Yay. Like, come on over, Mike. We'll have dinner. And we go over there. And, hey, we're getting deep dish pizza. It's on us. I'm like, yay. Okay, cool. And I was like, you're getting buttered up for something.
Uh-oh.
And it's like, now we're going to Ohio for Thanksgiving weekend, and we need you to stop at the house and check on the cats while we're gone. So, no. It's for a mutual friend of ours, Ivan, and he's cool. But anyway,
no. I know.
Yeah, I know we're cool with it. But it's like, yeah. Then when I said, I handed him a 20 when we picked up the pizza, and he's like, no. It's like, oh, okay, I know what this is about.
Yeah, so, I was going to say, that's like the tip-off, right?
Yeah, it's like, what do you want? So I got the key, so I'm going to go over there on Black Friday after work, and I'm going to just stop at the house and then check their water and check the little dry food dish and all that, and check the litter box or whatever, and they'll be home on Sunday or whatever. But the 3 little cats, they're little bundles of joy. They're great, so hopefully they won't destroy their house when they're gone. But the fact that I got to work the whole Black Friday weekend because one of my part-timers quit like a little bitch. So,
Is it the same fucker that was calling in?
Was that Ivan and Jeff? You were both talking at the same time.
I said, was it that same fucker that called in and you had to go in on Sunday?
Yeah. That same fucker.
What a fucking asshole.
As young kids, they don't care.
No, they have no work ethic.
He went and got another job, and he's going to get a reality check about how the real world works. How many times and we knew he was going to school. We know he was going to quit, but he's had this other, just been like, I'll turn the corner, and guess what? He's on his phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, these kids, I don't get it. But anyway, so that sucks.
These kids.
So I guess I'll be making some money this weekend, so I guess I'm happy I'm doing that, I guess. All right. Watch episode 3 of The Mandalorian. It's great. Really getting better each episode. I'm looking forward to each one so far.
Mm-hmm.
And Carl Weathers is good in it. as like the leader of like the Bounty Guild or whatever. He's great. He had a great couple of great speeches in this episode 3. And what else? Oh yeah, we had game night on Sunday, so that's good. And then
I saw you played something. What were you playing?
It's called Castle. It's called Castle Panic, where it's a co-op game where you've got monsters coming from 6 different directions, and you can trade cards before your turn to help like take care of the monsters the following turns or whatever, as they constantly attacking and knocking down the walls of the castle. So nasty orcs attacking the wall, probably MS-13, very bad. So yeah, it was good. That was fun. It was a fun co-op game. So we'll play that again. And it's good, quick setup. It's fun.
That's cool.
But all right, yeah. So I had I guess. Well, I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving. It's gonna be good, just a veg, and I'll have my one day of the week because I'll be off. So I guess I'm working. So I guess I'm happy. I guess that things are busy enough where I can earn money.
So what time are you open on Black Friday?
Oh, we open it as normal on 7. We're not doing the other stores like the other stores are doing. We're not open on Thanksgiving Day.
There's no special.
Oh, that's good.
You see, as a hardware store, we'll have the same set of screwdrivers and the same flashlight and the same tool set. We've had every year that's on sale, so it gets kind of boring. But back 10 years ago, we used to have the cool gadgets like the GPSs and like the portable DVD players, and those were the fun gadgets that people would come in for. But we don't have that anymore now, so we missed that kind of. The quote-unquote doorbusters word I freaking hate.
Yeah, you don't have like the TV for like $50 or anything like that.
No TVs. We used to have like the plug-in, like for like the 2 years or whatever when Texas Hold'em was really popular. Like the plug in your TV and play Texas Hold'em, where we had like the huge like box of like the chips and cards and such. The do-it-yourself gambling addiction kit. Like, that was
gambling addiction.
That's what I called it. Gambling, the home, gambling addiction. The
home game.
Yes.
The home game.
But when Texas Hold'em was big, there was a couple of years, but no, we don't have those fun like gadgets anymore.
So there isn't going to be like a line at 7 o'clock in the morning going.
No, not at our store. Everyone will be at the Walmart with the baseball bats. Oh, yeah, that should make next week's News of the Squared fun with all the Black Friday news. Hopefully nobody dies.
Sure. Yeah. I know we're going to have our fair share of emergency room visits, people getting shot, people getting trampled, getting their asses kicked, fighting over the desired thing that was in the aisle. Come on in, doorbusters, 7 a.m. We only be the first 10 people to get a certified.
That's what you do, Ivan. I'll pay you $50 to do this. You go into a Walmart with a big sign over your head that says "Baby Yoda toys here," and just run to the back of the store.
Baby Yoda toys here.
Run to the back of the store with a sign over your head. And
oh my God.
Do this at 5 a.m. on Black Friday at Walmart. That's a sure way to get Ivan in the ER, actually. Actually, don't do that, Ivan. That would be a bad idea.
I was thinking about it. I was seriously pondering it. I was like,
you really want to watch?
I could have recorded it on my phone and shit and could have gotten the audio for the show next week. It would have been a stream.
If you really want to, Ivan, if you really want to do something that's going to piss everybody off, wait till the show up when it's time for Walmart to open and walk right past the line in front of them and try to walk through the door.
You see the videos of like people like pressed against the glass, and you think that glass is going to break. They're pressing their faces against it and pushing against the people. It's like
a bunch of penguins ready to drop one to see.
It is. It's sad to watch this. I mean, you hear, you want to hear the juicy stories, and oh my God, this person died. But then, there was a fight, and somebody got shot in the foot. Now you can laugh at that shit. But no, it's still overall,
let me ask you a question.
Sad.
Is there anything
ridiculous is what it's become.
Let me ask you something. Is there anything you would like get up at like 1? See, the problem is it's not even 1 in the morning. People pretty much like when they're done with Thanksgiving
now
dinner,
it's 8 p.m. Thanksgiving.
Right. Well, it's not even 8 p.m. Thanksgiving. It's like, okay, you have to show up at Walmart at 8 p.m. on Thanksgiving when they open the door at like
4
whatever
p.m.
time it is. And as it is, they open up at what, midnight? So really now you got to get there at like noon.
Yeah,
you know.
and park your ass out there for 8 fucking hours.
Yeah, or 10 or 12.
Or 10
or
12
like
hours and do this bullshit, sitting in the cold. I did that one year with Laura.
Or what did you get?
I know you and Laura used to. She was all about that hunt, man.
It was all about that hunt, dude. I mean, we make hot chocolate in thermoses, and we would take the truck and we'd be in the parking lot, fucking 1 o'clock in the morning.
Nope.
In the morning, okay, and just waiting, and we're looking at, and one of us would take turns in the line. I'd stand out there for an hour, and then I get out, and I stand out there for an hour, and oh my God, It's just such ridiculousness. It really is, folks. You know what, people? You have nothing to fucking do on on this whole situation. Wait for Cyber Monday and do it from your house.
No, nobody waits. There is no Cyber Monday.
Yeah, there is.
Everyone
Cyber Monday
goes to their. Everyone has it on their phone.
Well, I'm talking.
Well, that's what I mean. But there's.
Yeah, everybody does it. Everybody's got it on their phone now. But I'm talking just a little bit before the whole, cell phone phenomenon. Happen and shit.
Well, it's more than that now. It's like what? It's Black Friday, and then you've got small business Saturday and Cyber Monday, and
it's like, just a cash grab weekend coming up, and that's what that is.
You know what it is? Yeah. I'll tell you what it is. It's stay the hell away from the mall weekend.
Oh, you saw that Woodfield is going to close their doors. Midnight to 6 on Black Friday.
Whoa.
They'll be open on Thanksgiving, but they will close the mall from midnight to 6 a.m.
Okay. You know what? That really won't.
And that accomplishes what? And that accomplishes what? What does that accomplish? Okay, I mean, nobody's going to be out there for 6 hours overnight. I mean, most people aren't out there unless they're Walmart or Target or whatever.
No,
the fuck.
You'd be surprised because a lot of those stores in there will have deals too. They'll have deals.
Yeah, but don't you think that the mall is kind of shooting the vendors inside the mall in the foot for being closed for 6 hours if they're open inside?
What do you mean?
Well, you can get into the stores from the outside from their own entrance. But the interior of the mall will be closed.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I just needed some clarification. I was trying to
that's fine. I mean, trust. Look, all I know is I had to go to a store in Woodfield a couple weeks ago.
Lover's Lane.
And I'm telling you, it's already like getting off 53 is just a nightmare. I mean, it's already backed up insane. I don't even want to know what Old Orchard's going to look like.
It doesn't matter if you get off at Higgins or Gulf Road.
2 words: shit show.
Well, and like this crazy part is about both of those is that like some of these things with these malls is it's like all of a sudden it starts traffic jams because. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, Old Orchard's right near the house, okay? So there's Old Orchard Road, which is usually where people get off to go to Old Orchard, okay? There's a light right there at the end when you get off the ramp. Well, okay. It's distinctly possible that you will have cars all the way onto the highway waiting to go up this ramp.
Yeah.
On that holiday. And it's like, all of a sudden, it's like, okay, congratulations, you've created a traffic jam nightmare. And you're like, where is this coming from? And it's like, oh, okay. It's like insane. It's like when Great America opens up and it's like Good Lord.
Then it's elbows and assholes the whole first couple of hours trying to get in there.
First weekend, yeah.
No, it's not just the first weekend. There are other weekends too. If you're at certain times of the day, have fun because it's like it'll jam it up all the way until you get past Great America. It's like
elbows and assholes everywhere.
But at least they're calling for decent weather somewhat most of the weekend. I think there might be like a chance of light snow on Sunday, which might cause some problems with people going home.
Well, yeah.
But I think there's just like maybe some spotty rain, but it's going to stay above freezing during the day.
Let me ask you a question. Have you guys, what would it take for you at this point to go at some insane hour to stand in a line? What would it take?
What would it take?
Yeah.
Well, it's nothing I need.
Obviously, cash is not an optional answer. What would it take?
All right, there's one particular thing that I would take and I would get out and I would stand out in the middle of the night and wait for the morning for just one thing. Something I've always wanted. Okay. And it is an RD77 vintage microphone. Well, they're rebuilt now, but yeah, and from RCA. If I could get one of those for a minimal amount of money, like $200-$300 instead of $2,000-$3,000 that they originally cost, I'd be so there.
Okay.
That would be the singular thing. Not even record. The singular microphone. Why? Because it's something I've always wanted. So that would get me out of bed, staying in a line and jumping all the hurdles and everything like that, and maybe, coming to fisticuffs and all that, no, not so much, but yeah. And probably be the most unassuming thing of anything being, sold there anyway. Everybody's going for air conditioners and toys and stuff, and I just want my little...
No one goes out to buy air conditioners on Black
nobody's
Friday
going out to buy air conditioners.
Well, some people, wait a minute. Don't some people buy stuff in the winter to use it in the summer because it's cheaper?
But usually most of the people are looking for, most of them are usually looking for something, computers or laptops or,
or iPads or whatever.
Phones.
Or huge Mondo TVs.
Or now, record players and records. It's a new thing.
I suppose you might be one of among the minority in that regard, as far as going out early in the morning on Black Friday.
Yeah.
For a record player.
If you're standing in line for a record player at that hour of the morning,
no, I'm sorry.
You could have got one on Wednesday.
Yeah.
There'd have been no line.
Yeah, no line for the record player. Pretty sure about
no line for the record players or the records for that matter.
They're there, but they're gaining popularity, but they're not there yet.
No,
they're still going to get their 65-inch television instead.
Yeah.
Or their 70-inch or their 75-inch or the Thunder Sound 3000, which of course covers an entire wall.
Thunder Sound 3000.
I
think I need that. Thunder Sound 3000.
Sound 3000 has 18 speakers. You can put them in every corner and of every crevice of your room and get the most minuscule sound out of every speaker. Why, that person's walking.
So what about you, Mike? What would you go that hour for in line?
Well, I have the electronics. Well, I had my TV crapped and died earlier this year, so I got a new TV, so I don't need a TV, but I suppose maybe a laptop, maybe one if I can get a laptop dedicated to this show,
there you go.
Or I guess maybe some vintage Japanese Generation 1 stuff from the late 80s, like maybe like a Victory Saber or Overlord, one of like the big ones. If I can get a good deal on those, that'd be something I'd.
You're talking about Transformers, right?
Yes, Transformers. Yes.
But my favorite version, you're like, I'm like, some people are like, what is he talking about? Well, okay, we got to make sure.
Yes, talking robots.
If you had an opportunity, Mike, if there was for some reason that the Fortress Maximus mint and seal box, they just found it in the back room somewhere, and you had an opportunity to get it, would you get it?
Yeah, I would. I wish I'd passed up on them back in the day. Like back in 1988, Fortress Maximus was on clearance for $50. Now they're worth $1,000.
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
So, yeah, that'd be fun.
Let me ask you a question. What is probably the most expensive Transformer collectible?
Oh, the most valuable? It's hard to say. Maybe like a copy of like the original script to Transformers the movie. But if you're talking about toys,
no, I'm talking about.
There's all kinds of like rare stuff and paraphernalia. But as far as rare Transformers, maybe some of the earlier like resin or wooden prototypes. But as far as a mass release figure,
anything die cast? What about that?
No, the earlier die cast stuff has been from Diaclone. That's been made already, remade.
Like I would assume an early generation, like a generation one of like Optimus Prime or Bumblebee's got to be huge.
It's been reissued so many times, though, it's dragged down the value of the original, though.
Oh, really?
But maybe like sealed G1 stuff, like sealed in box, maybe.
Box, yeah.
Yeah, if it's had to be sealed, and then if they're AFA graded, like sealed in like a plastic case, that some of those are. Yeah.
Can I tell you that's the number one thing that pisses me off?
When you buy toys and people collect boxes instead of toys?
Well, no, not only that. It's like, okay, once upon a time at some point, we bought this stuff to play with.
Yeah.
We never thought twice about keeping a box.
No.
We never worried about any of that garbage. Okay?
Some people did. Not very many, but some people did.
Right, but not kids.
No.
It was never kids. Kids never thought that way. So it's really funny because you had all these kids who are like, "Oh, I got that," and they're like, "Is it in the box?" No, it's not in the box. I don't even know if I have the gun anymore.
Yeah,
it's like,
I know, Jeff. I had a vinyl caped Jawa as a kid. That figure still on the card today is worth $10,000.
Oh, dude, I had one of the figures that was still in the house. Was an original Luke Skywalker, but it just didn't have the lightsaber in it.
Yeah, the little slide-out thing that's in his arm.
Right, but it's beat up enough that I bet even though it's beat up, I bet I probably lost out on. I'm sure somebody cleaned it up and probably got thousands of dollars, a couple $100 for it.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, my favorite is. Did I ever tell you this? So it was funny. I talked about this for a speech I did. On why I never want to be in at an estate sale or a house sale for your own house.
Yes, yeah, you have talked about like, especially now with people with on their phones, they can grab something and see what it's.
Well, not only that. So a friend of mine, there was this old toy box that I used to have that had like 70s logos of a whole bunch of DC characters and from the comics on it, and it was really funny because there was a guy looking at it, and a friend of mine overheard him, and he's like, "Oh, this is extremely rare." He's like, "Oh yeah, you could find, if you really got one like this." And she was like, "Oh, so how much do you think it'd be worth?" He's like, "Oh yeah, the one of these is worth like $500-$600." She's like, "Oh really?" She's like, "Oh, so you think Jeff could get that kind of money?" Well, there's some tearage here. There's some creasing here. There's some creasing there.
That's good.
She's like, so how much do you think the guy said that it would be worth? How much was it? Any guesses?
150.
100.
Yeah, I wish. It went from like $500 to like $5.
What?
Exactly. Dude, trust me, these guys, this is why it's like I got out of the collecting thing real fast. I'm like, there's just too much bullshit.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing with records. I mean, you'd be surprised at, one, we have a policy at the store. You're not allowed to use your cell phone in the store.
Yeah.
Because You get people who right away they go on Discogs and
or eBay,
SD and eBay and stuff, or they'll sit there and pop psych and they'll go on the comparison ratios that they got on those pages and such, and then next thing you know, they see the record that they're desiring right away. They want to go on the phone. They come up to the counter, and then it's just like, well, this will be $15. And they're like, well, it isn't the first pressing. There's a 3-inch split at the top of the cover. The colors are kind of discolored. There's some stainage on the back.
Yeah.
They go through all this. They go through all the bullshit, and I'll just look at them and like, yeah. So and then I'll just come right out with it. So what did Poxite say it was worth? And he'll just look at me and I says, I know what you were doing back there. Okay, it's still $15. I mean, you could get it. You saw it. It's here. It's now. Or you could go ahead and pay the $30 at PopSite, plus shipping, plus handling, and everything. And guess where he got that? And guess where they got that record from? They got that record from me.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, like, yeah. So after we moved out of Logan Hardware and went to the Jungle, we kind of frown on the whole on the phone thing, just for that reason. Because you know what? If left to that situation, we wouldn't sell record one.
Well, I laugh because it's like I had some stuff that was in terms of comics that was like, how can I say? I still had my copy of Muhammad Ali Superman. I will tell you right now, it was not anywhere near good condition. I would say it was in fair condition.
I'm using the record grade scale, so fair would equate to good in my universe, which is still a very desirable.
Yeah, like I said, I swear to God, it was so funny because it was like, the guy's like, well, this has a tear, and this is, and in fairness, there was a decent sized tear, but I'm also sitting there going, I'm kind of laughing because I'm like, how many of these are really in circulation still?
Exactly. Where are you going to find this again?
I mean, I was kind of thinking about that. I'm like, where are you finding this in circulation? There are not that many that I'm aware of that are out there.
Right.
And trust me, there was stuff that I had that, I was just like, fuck it, just get it out of here. Yeah. I hate to tell you what the number was that I got for everything, but and honestly, I was just kind of sitting there going, wow, unbelievable.
Yeah, well, that's the thing when you're selling them as a lot, because you can get more money for them if you sell them individually, but then it takes a lot more work. Have to hunt down the right collector who's willing to pay the right price.
Which is hysterical because that's a lot. It should be even better, but okay.
Well, yeah, like I just sit here, like right now I'm looking across from me. I have a near mint, full bloom, Miss Jackie Ross album, Selfish One with what they call the exclamation, font on the album and everything. And this album, I'm not going to discuss how much I got it, but if I was to go ahead and have somebody come in, I know for certain I can probably get 50 to 75 bones for it. Because number one, it's mono, it's desirable mono. The cover's in great shape, the picture's in great shape, and everything else. But, but then to try to sell that to another person and you're getting the desired price, that's another trick altogether. Okay? But what makes the internet nice is that you got people that are not local who are looking for these things that are not close at hand to where they're at, and that's where the sales are and everything. So I can probably send Full Bloom over to the UK and probably get $200 for it if I wanted it.
Yeah, but then that's in fake British money.
Well, okay.
Boy, how many fish and chips can you buy with that, mate?
I'll give you one, Ivan. You'll get a kick out of this.
I'll go ahead and get you 1,000 quid. 1,000 quid. Fuck you, 1,000 quid. You crazy?
What's a quid? Why do I want octopuses?
And why do I want?
Oh no! I'll give you like 200,000 Bitcoin.
How many euros can I get with that?
Yeah, I don't know.
How many euros will you eat with that? I don't know.
Yeah. I'll give you 50,000 rubles.
50 rubles.
How many rubles are there?
So,
That's like Stern used to do that whole bit about the Turkish millionaire. And they used to pay him in Turkish money, and really it was like about $160 or something. I don't think it was $160.
What, you mean like the Slumdog Millionaire?
Like their currency made it where it was like nowhere close to like $1 million, but it was like they could give you $1 million Turkish dollars, and it was like.
And it equates to, it's just like yen in Japan, man. You know, like it sounds like there's a lot of numbers there, but you're like,
yeah, well, like 100 yen is like $1. That's true.
No, yeah. I believe you. That's what I'm talking about. You know, I will give you 100 yen for this album. All right, I'm getting $100. No, you're not. You're getting $1.
Yeah.
I walk away.
Do we got any news this week, Jeff?
Real fast though, just to finish out because Ivan will get kicked out of this.
Yeah.
So as a kid, my parents, we went to Cincinnati to go to Kings Island, and on a whim they decided. This is like I'm 5 or 6 years old. On a whim they decided, okay, we're going to go to the Cincinnati Reds game, okay, and we had like upper deck nosebleed seats. The game we went to is the one game that Tom Seaver throws a no-hitter. Okay?
Oh,
nice.
So I still have the ticket stubs. My biggest mistake was I put them in a binder and I punched it through the binder ring, which I wasn't thinking about.
Oh.
But, again, I was a kid. What do I know?
Yeah.
But, again, how many of those really exist in this day and age? I mean, we're talking about a game in the 70s.
Right.
How many people kept their ticket stubs from back then?
Probably nobody.
I walked into a local store and showed him this, and the guy's like, yeah, I can't pay. He's like, yeah, there's no market for that. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, I'd have to spend money to authenticate it and blah, blah, blah. And he went on, and I'm just like, really? There's no market. Fine, I'll take him home.
You just have to find a collector, that's all.
Well, my favorite is it shouldn't have been that hard to find a collector. There's a lot of Cincinnati Red fans out there. And Tom Seaver fans, I can't imagine that I couldn't easily get. Well, you get the point. I'm just like, I was just amazed.
You probably could have got or that, or you could have talked to people in Cooperstown and say if they wanted it for their exhibits and stuff.
Actually, that's an interesting idea. I still have them.
Well, you should talk to the people at Cooperstown and see if
idea.
Yeah, see if they want them for an exhibit. Because you know what? I mean, I'm sure a lot of those people weren't thinking that they were going to see a no-hitter on that game. And especially you got a documented game ticket stating that, you were there, you saw it, it's real, and here's the proof of that.
That's an interesting idea because I wonder what I could get off on taxes on that. Anyway.
You can probably get off the tax on that thing.
Right, no, absolutely. I mean,
all right.
Like
It's business.
Well, no, I still remember back when I was working broadcast and I was working sports radio, and one of the things that we all talked about at the time when Sosa and McGuire were doing the home run chase, one of the things that was talked about was if you got the record-breaking home run ball, the best thing you could do was donate it in your name to Cooperstown, and then take the tax deduction.
Right.
Because it was like insane.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually. Although I think in the end the person made more money selling it, but if you had taken the tax deduction, you weren't going to get hit with nearly the taxes or anything like that, but yeah.
Well, it's right up there with my Sammy Sosa bobblehead. I still have my Sammy Sosa bobblehead.
Yeah.
Does it come with a little cork bat?
Hey.
No,
does it have a place where you can pump it up and make it look like a steroid guy?
Actually, I sit there, get a cork, and actually make a cork bat for it and shit. Yeah.
Does it have a boombox?
No, it doesn't get a boombox. It's just him in his uniform and his head bobs, and he's in the swinging position and all that other shit. So
yeah, I'm curious to see. I don't know if you're aware. so for the Bears' 100th anniversary this year, they're giving out bobbleheads at all the home games.
Okay.
And they have different players that they have. And I'll be curious if down the road at some point they're worth anything.
Well, I'm sure they are. I'm sure someday, just like those little things that are out there, little statuettes, those pop things. You know the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah, the Funko Pops, yeah.
The Funko Pop. I'm sure, unlike any other marketable thing, I mean, they did it with the Beanie Babies, they did it with the Furbies.
Yeah, but you got to know when to sell and when to buy and sell. That's the biggest
a lot of those are just not very rare.
Yeah, at least not right now.
It's like I was watching Jeopardy when I got home today, and they had like a little Funko Pop Alex Trebek.
Yeah.
Dude, they have a Funko Pop everything.
Yeah, that's Funko's keys. The number of licenses they have.
Well, it goes right back to what we saw on the Toys That Made Us. In the episode for Star Trek, and how that one company ended up getting all of the licensing. They started producing all of the different movies and things.
Yeah.
How soon until we get the Funko Pop Baby Yoda?
Oh, that'll be here very soon. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm sure.
Not soon enough, I don't think.
Although they do have a Black Series Mandalorian out already, and
do they really? Wow.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was out on Force Friday last month.
Wow.
Yodeling. In terms of news this week, trying to think. Okay, so by the time this airs, are we really at that point? Are we really? So this will air, and then no, we're still technically
in November.
We're still technically 2 weeks away from Crisis. So we're getting closer.
From Crisis?
3 episodes.
Crisis on Infinite
3
Earth.
episodes of Crisis on Infinite Earth. So we're getting closer. But we're not there yet.
It's the creeping crisis is
the creeping crisis is coming.
Yeah, I sprayed my lawn for a creeping crisis last year.
I'm more looking forward to that than I am Rise of Skywalker.
I know.
If I'm honest, Rise of Skywalker, I'm like sitting there going, please don't suck, please don't suck.
That was the same thing about Terminator, and you will get to Terminator news later, but
I think there's that.
Yeah.
What is with everybody lately opening all these Hollywood types opening their mouth and saying just something stupid? It's it's
that's really, a tradition that's happened forever.
No. I mean, there's some really dumb things being said lately.
Well, everybody's on the hate train because of De Niro now, because of his.
I mean, Scorsese.
I thought it was De Niro that was about it.
Scorsese.
Oh, Scorsese about.
Oh, okay.
And then Elizabeth Banks came out last week talking about how men don't want to see female-led actions.
Female action.
And it's like,
excuse me,
God.
Where you been?
Yeah, she just got
what
destroyed.
rock did you crawl off
she got pwned, as they say on the internet.
Oh my God! I mean, to list the list of. And like somebody said, it's not like the women came out to see it either. Nobody came out to see that movie. It might be good. In fairness, I don't know. In fairness, it wasn't something that I wanted to spend that kind of money to go see. I just wasn't going to do it.
No.
And that's where it was. But when she's sitting there talking about, unless it's like a Marvel superheroes or something like that. Hey, Elizabeth, how about the Hunger Games?
Right.
Didn't make Jennifer Lawrence a big name or nothing at all. Nope, not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the things, or Angelina Jolie for Tomb Raider. Come on. How about Sigourney Weaver with Alien? Come on. You are just making this too easy. How about what's her name in Rogue One, the one where it's like rebellions are born on hope, whatever her name is. I mean, it's just like so. Okay, so there's that, and now there's the latest. Kathleen Kennedy, who is the head of Lucasfilm, did an article, I think it was with Rolling Stone, and she said, can I find the exact
Find the
quote?
article. What did she say?
Okay, do I need to find the exact quote?
Yeah,
it's
I want to read it in context.
It's real bad.
Okay, give me a moment. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, that gives me enough time to go look for this. Here we go. I got it.
He's got it.
We got it.
Now I gotta find the exact quote.
Hooray! He got it.
So she did an interview with Rolling Stone. This is from about a week ago.
Okay.
And she was asked a question about here. Well, I'll just read you the question. The Jurassic World director Colin Trevorrow was slated to write and direct Episode 9 before you brought J.J. Abrams back. And in this final entry in the trilogy, a particularly hard nut to crack? Here's her answer. Every one of these movies is a particularly hard nut to crack. Here's where it gets interesting. There's no source material. We don't have comic books. We don't have 800-page novels. We don't have anything other than passionate storytellers who get together and talk about what the next iteration would be. Oh, God. And, of course, I hit the snap thing. But
Kathy, there have been many books written about what happens after.
Okay, so
much of it has been approved by Lucas.
We go through a really normal process that everybody else does. You start by talking to filmmakers who think exhibit the sensibilities you're looking for, and I would argue that's a very small list of people who really do. Okay, I'm going to stop. The part that is the part where everybody and their mother is looking at and going, really, is there's no source material. We don't have comic books. We don't have 800-page novels. Wrong.
Yes, we do.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, you have a ton of material.
And they've been cherry picking from the said books since Disney bought the franchise.
Right.
So this, like I said, there are people who, I swear, there are people who are like, that has got to be about one of the dumbest things you've ever said. Because first of all, let's start way at the beginning, which is Marvel once upon a time wrote comics for Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
And then they lost the license, and Dark Horse wrote a crap load of comics for quite a few decades.
Is that where
Some
the
of
EU
them,
was born? In Dark Horse?
Well, that's part of it. Then you have Timothy Zahn, who wrote the Zahn trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
And there have been a ton of books in the last 20 years. There were games, there were TV shows, there have been comic books, there are role-playing games. Hell, when you talk to some of the EU, when you talk to some of the guys who were writing the extended universe, you know where usually they were getting most of their material to find for source material information? The old school Weston Games D6 Star Wars game that I've been playing for 20 plus years. Because the source material, they had a boatload of source material that was just amazing on just about anything you can think of Star Wars related for the most part. That's why when we were talking earlier about, what's the race for Yoda? It's like, I even went back and looked. It's like, they don't even say anything in there.
Yeah, we know a lot about Yoda, but
right,
that's it.
Right. And that's not 100% true either. We know a lot about Yoda. We don't know a lot about Yoda's race, but not the point. The point being is there is so much material, and the only thing I can think of as to why you would make a statement like that is because Disney a while back decided that none of the stuff before they owned Star Wars, other than the movies or any type of the TV shows, was canon. And they killed all of that, and they killed all the extended universe stuff as canon. And
But
to
since
me,
then,
go ahead.
Since then, Rogue One brought in kyber crystals. Those came from the EU.
Well, it goes beyond that. You've got people writing comics right now. Marvel has an entire slate of Star Wars comics that you're writing. You have all these games. You have all these cartoons you've been creating. You know, you mean to tell me that...
And she says there's no source material.
There's no source material.
That's obviously a faux pas.
It's beyond a faux pas.
No, it's basically not doing your research to give a valid answer.
It's what it really says is, yeah, we're not paying attention to any of that. We're just going to do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
But it's fine. You can do that. But
yeah, they can.
Don't say that.
Yeah, but the thing is, don't you think that that's kind of a slap to the chops of, okay, we got it. We don't give a shit what happened before it. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to run with the ball and see what comes out of it. You know, I mean, come on.
It depends. It depends. And let me tell you why it depends. It depends on what... Right now, nothing, with the exception of The Mandalorian that I'm aware of, there is very little source material based on, now that Disney owns things, between episodes 6 and 7. If they're going to do a bunch of new source material for that time frame, that would be great. I think it would be interesting to find out a lot more about what happened during that time frame. I don't know if we'll get those answers or not. I don't know if we'll get books on those answers. I don't know if we'll get comic books on those answers. I'm not sure. I'd like to see it.
I think Disney is going to be a little more. I don't know if they're going to be as concentrated on publication against media like movies and television shows of this sort of thing. Do you think they're going to get involved in the publication of it at all?
What do you mean? They are.
Yeah, they're doing it.
They're doing it.
Okay,
keep in mind, Marvel and Disney, Marvel and Lucas are both owned by Disney.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah,
so,
all right.
And now they got their own channel where they can have not just their own TV shows, and they can put all their older stuff onto it.
But they can come up with their own ideas.
Yeah, they can prose novels, comics, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so they pretty much got carte blanche on it now.
Well, and the other thing is too, you know that I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I can't imagine that Disney doesn't own a publishing arm. They have to.
I'm sure they do. Remember, they were into recordings too. Right. So I'm sure they've got a publishing house that addresses their movies, shows, their music, and all of the things that are incorporated into that. And of course, I'm sure throughout the recent acquisitions of all the other properties, which they now bought outright, and of course now belongs to the Disney company. And I'm sure that also would include all of the publishing and all of the copyrights and all of the,
You'd assume so. And that's the one question.
With the exception of a couple of things that still belong to Jim Henson, like Edmund Otter's Jug Band Christmas does not belong to Disney. It still belongs to Jim Henson.
I thought you were talking about Star Wars. Star Wars related. Lucas, ever since the holiday special, Lucas is a real stickler about source material and ownership and using that stuff and all that kind of stuff. So, to me, the real question is, I don't know why she would make a statement like that, especially, here's the best part of all. You're bringing back Emperor Palpatine, because we've never seen that before, like in Dark Empire, which was a comic book from the late 90s. It's like, geez, come on, don't tell me there's no source material when half the people are going, okay, you're using a Dark Empire story.
Well, again, this is just the case. This is just a case of people not doing their homework, not doing their research, or just being ignorant of actual cold hard fact. That, how would you not have an origin story if you're still creating the story? Okay? There's gotta be some place you're drawing that from. Well,
this is the other part that I kind of find interesting. And Mike, this is the part that I think is interesting to me. Let me ask you a question.
Mom.
Okay.
Would you be interested in some way or shape or form of seeing what Lucas's vision of 7, 8, and 9 was supposed to be?
No.
No?
No, that ship has sailed. If Luke wanted to do it, he'd have done it, but he didn't want to.
Here's the rationale. Because I'll tell you right now, to me, there's no reason why you couldn't do novels based on it. There's no reason why you couldn't do a cartoon version. You get the idea. I mean, if you got enough people...
Why could you do a live-action show of it?
Well, the point I'm getting... Well, I don't know if you're going to get a live-action show. The point I'm getting at is if you've got enough people clamoring for a Snyder cut, my favorite... Honestly, I'm really surprised nobody sat there and said, we're interested in what Lucas had. What did Lucas write? Because they didn't use any of it. They scrapped entirely most of everything that Lucas gave them in terms of direction and story. So, go figure. Trying to think what else is there. What else is?
So, do you think because they did that? Do you think because they just wanted to, go their own way on it without any of the Lucas influence upon it?
Maybe.
They just wanted to create it from, okay, Disney's got it. It's in Disney's hands with Disney's writers, with Disney's people, with Disney's own ideas, with Disney's production and direction and all this other shit. And they just said, well, you know what? That's nice, Lucas, but we got this we want to do.
Well, I'll give you an example where it's interesting because, like, there's somebody I was talking to recently, and I don't have a problem with BB-8, but this person's like, yeah, the reason why you're not seeing a lot of R2-D2 is because Disney makes more money on the fact that they've got a new product in BB-8. I don't really understand that because I still think people really would buy anything R2-D2, but
yeah,
you gotta get something new and hip for the kids. And
they made an evil BB-8 in Episode 8.
Yeah, so people would buy things.
Yeah,
he showed up for 5 seconds.
The new shinies.
Yeah, he showed up for.
You gotta make sure you get the merchandising money in, so that way they have the money to make more products.
Yeah, hence the impending Baby Yoda toys.
Yeah.
Which, all that money is going to go into what? More product.
Of course.
This or that. And now the quality of this for that is yet to be seen. But, you're going to go ahead and you're going to sell this shiny thing. People are going to love it now. Are they going to be concerned of the story or its origin or any of that? No.
That got me thinking. Like, if the original trilogy came out today and Darth Vader's costume didn't change in the 3 movies. I mean, there have been subtle changes. I'm sure someone would say, well, there were different colored lenses in Episode 4. No. Hold on. Relax. If the original trilogy came out, like, in these times, in these modern times, we know Kylo Ren got a new helmet for Episode 9. He fixed that helmet that got broken up by Snoke or whatever, or himself or whatever. So, you think they would have changed Darth Vader's look to sell new toys?
Well, but how much have they changed Kylo Ren's look?
They didn't give him that pull of pants up with the shirt off look. That's the toy they needed to make.
Yeah, well,
anyway.
No.
Yeah, but they gave him vibrating. But they changed his helmet for Episode 9, where he had a different helmet in Episode 6. And then Episode 7 or whatever. And they didn't have the helmet on very much in Episode 8. So, they would have changed a lot of things just for the sake of selling new toys, I think.
Maybe. Then again.
In those days.
Well, now then it brings into the word variance, where, you got the different things happening in every situation.
Well, but
now, if you use that as a marketing point, I think it's got some validity, but if it wasn't meant to happen this way and it did anyhow, you know, who's going to know?
Yeah, but in fairness, just to play a little devil's advocate to this.
Okay.
I mean, when R2-D2 had new functions and new features, okay, there were new R2-D2 toys.
Yep.
Or when C-3PO and Empire Strikes Back got shot, and he was all over the place. There was definitely a toy where you could pull apart C-3PO.
Yeah, they finally made a Black Series figure for C-3PO from ESB where he can, as Chewbacca's knapsack, all his parts can go in his.
Right, I remember having that as a kid. I remember that one.
I wanted that one. I didn't have it.
But yeah, I mean, that stuff, even think about it. I mean, there was a different Luke Skywalker for Return of the Jedi.
And there was a different Han Solo, a different Leia.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there were a couple different.
Why wasn't any of that?
Different stormtroopers in every movie.
Yeah, I'll tell you which Leia we didn't have. We didn't get Leia slave girl. Leia. We never got that one. That one we never got as a toy.
They made a Black Series figure, but parents groups kind of protested.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So now it's super rare, I think.
Probably. Even though there were a whole bunch of women who were like, yeah, that inspired me.
No, they made figures for Slave Leia.
No.
But it's hard to find now.
Oh, maybe now, maybe later.
I mean, most of the people, okay, and I'm not trying to sound any other thing, but just making an observation here.
Uh-huh.
Most of the female characterizations and many of that, for some strange reason, they end up getting, short packed or short run, and they end up being, those type of figures where it's like, yeah, I mean, I could have this or I could have this.
Well, those were days when the toys were primarily for boys, and it was hard to. The toy companies had to pitch hard to make a girl figure because boys wouldn't play with the girls.
Yeah, just like it was funny because when Episode 7 happened and there weren't that many Rey figures.
And that was the hashtag, where's Rey?
Yeah, and that was a real issue for a little bit because, dynamics had shifted,
Yeah. Now especially.
Then, of course, you got toy makers now that are actually making figures that, the children can construct themselves to their own specifications now. Okay? And a gender fluid line of figures now that are coming, which,
I was trying to avoid things like
that's that's the sign of the times. That's how things are now.
That's how things are now. Okay, yeah, I'm a boy, but you know what? I'm gender fluid, so I want a gender fluid doll. I want a doll that looks like a girl, but it's still a boy.
Well, wasn't Ken a gender fluid doll? He didn't have genitalia.
Well, none of them had real genitalia.
No.
Well, Barbie kind of had.
Well,
anyway.
She had the shape. She had the bust shape, and she had the waist shape and everything, but they weren't accentuated.
No.
Yeah,
they had to generalize it. They had to blur the image.
And then blur the lines a little bit because.
Yeah, but when you pulled the Ken doll, you took the pants off. There's no dinky there.
No,
just a bulge.
There.
I mean, no, there's not even a bulge. I mean, they were making fun of it in Toy Story, where he's like, "Where's your privates?"
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have any.
Well, he doesn't have any. Well, then neither does Barbie. So
Well, but Barbie's not supposed to have that type of. Well, I guess Barbie could have that type of equipment.
Well,
you know what? There's the Barbie we needed. Surprise Barbie.
Vaginal Barbie. Okay, here we go.
No, surprise Barbie. Hello. What's this?
So do we have any other news this week, or are we just going to talk about...
I was trying to. We keep going in different directions.
Yeah.
Let's see. So it looks like apparently there's rumors that the Justice Society is going to be part of the Black Adam movie, as well as possibly Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
We'll see where that goes, if that's really legit or not. Apparently, the Stargirl show that's going to be on DC Universe
has moved to CW.
Well, no, they're doing something interesting. It's going to debut on on DC Universe, and then it will move to CW after new episodes have been put out.
Okay.
And my understanding is she is going to be part of this whole Crisis thing too. So we'll see.
We know Batwoman will be in the Crisis.
Right, Batwoman's in there. Yeah. Pretty much,
all the CW people.
Right, all the CW. There's rumors that I've heard rumors that that there's a quick scene where the Titans are in it or something where they did video of it just because. The most interesting thing to me is, are they going to pare everything down to one Earth so that really everybody's on one Earth now, because there are a couple who are on different places and whatnot. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I'm trying to think if there's anything else of note. Oh, I think the only other thing kind of is, I don't know if you caught this, Mike, but apparently The Mandalorian is now more in demand as a show, I think they said, than Stranger Things or Doctor Who.
Well, Doctor Who's been kind of out, I think, since Peter Capaldi was no longer the Doctor, and they got in this woman to play the Doctor now. But I think this kind of fell out of the forefront, especially after David Tennant left. Doctor Who's been kind of on a downward turn as far as just in the main.
I thought they did well with the woman.
They're doing fine with it. Ratings are good. It just seemed like it's not out in the forefront like you used to when we had David Tennant.
It's a change of direction for the show.
Well, the point I'm getting at is that the point I was trying to get to is that the Mandalorian, apparently demand for the Mandalorian is higher than anything else out there right now.
Yeah, because the casuals, all the dudes are like, yeah, cool, bounty hunters and action, and all the girls are like, oh, baby Yoda.
Yeah. I'm curious to see. Well, like I said, I haven't checked to see. I wouldn't even know where to begin to look for bootlegs, but we'll see how that works out too.
It's really good so far.
Well, speaking of bootlegs, didn't when Disney Plus went on the air, there was they were unlocking accounts on the black market for a while for $3.
Yeah, people were able to. Yeah, people were selling, I guess, Disney Plus accounts on the dark web.
Were they really? I heard something about a breach.
No, I didn't hear anything about a breach.
I heard there was a breach.
I heard about the black market thing going. That I read on the internet.
Well, like I said, I think that's something that I'll probably pick up in a couple of weeks, and when and check out Disney Plus. But we'll see. I was wrong, by the way. There's your answer. I was wrong. We thought The Irishman was this past weekend. It's this weekend. I probably won't get a chance to see it for a little bit. But
when's it drop? Friday?
I think it drops. I think it might be Wednesday, but it's going to drop this week during Thanksgiving. So if you've got Netflix, The Irishman will be available on Netflix. Finally.
Cool.
Trying to think of anything else. I think that's about all. The only other thing I was going to ask you guys is and I guess we got to kind of keep it short. Funniest Thanksgiving story you got?
Well, this was it's not going to sound funny, but it was. This was the Thanksgiving we had to have it at my sister's apartment in the city.
Okay.
Because my sister had just had her stroke, and she was at the RIC downtown in rehab. So we were going to make Christmas dinner. We were going to make Thanksgiving dinner and drive down and give her a plate to eat because her husband, Jim, was down there. So we're starting with Thanksgiving dinner is almost done, and my dad is in the kitchen with Sherry, and he accidentally sets the oven to clean.
Oh no!
Where it locks the oven at high temperature.
No.
Where
No.
it was for a full 15 minutes. It was at like full blast, like 500 plus degrees,
Oh,
and
shit.
we're just like panicking because we're going to ruin Thanksgiving dinner. But then we finally, once the settings finally shut off, we were able to open it, and we only got like maybe like I think like the sweet potato casserole I think just got a little burned on top, but that's it. So it turned out to be a false alarm, but that was like the Thanksgiving that almost wasn't, and that's the fun. That was like I guess somewhat fun, and then we had Thanksgiving dinner, and then we drove down to REC. We saw my sister, and then she was home in time for Christmas from her situation. So that's the one thing that's affectionately takes place as far as like fun Thanksgiving stories in my family.
Let's see. Yeah, how about you, Jeff?
I was gonna let you go first.
Oh, you want me to go? Okay. Okay, fun Thanksgiving story. Okay, being a small kid and of course not knowing any better, going into the refrigerator and looking at what I thought was grape juice. Okay. So, I go ahead and I grab the grape juice. I pour the grape juice out and I'm thinking, man, this grape juice, it's got a bit of a twang, but I like it. It tasted like Welch's, but just a lot more hearty.
Uh-oh.
Well, so I sit there, I'm drinking. This is really good. I drink some more and I remember crawling underneath the table with the bottle, okay, and continuing to drink the bottle until I ended up falling asleep. So there in existence is a picture of me holding a bottle of Mogen David wine.
Wait, stop. How do you even have Mogen David?
How old were you? How old were you?
I think I was about 6 or 7 years old.
I'm a little confused how you have Mogen David. Why would you have a Mogen David wine?
Well, because we did a lot of parties back, growing up, in my parents' house. I mean,
Nothing says parties like Jewish wine.
Well, okay, because I don't know why we had the Jewish wine, but we had Jewish wine. We had a tavern, so we served up all kinds of things. And this,
yeah, but Mogen David isn't exactly like, it's kind of like,
I know,
it's not Boone's Farm, but it's kind of
that's a kind of Jewish ripple, but all I know is
that's not even Jewish ripple. It's like, how do I put this? It's like, it's not exactly like it's wine. It's Mogen David. It's hard to explain. It's not like it's not bad. It's just not,
It tasted good.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It tasted good. I couldn't resist it. I was thirsty, and the more I drank, the happier I got, and to the point where I got sleepy, and then I ended up going underneath the kitchen table. And they found me under there with the bottle. It's almost empty, and a big stupid smile on my face.
Nice.
That's one of my favorite Thanksgiving party stories. Yeah, the first time I ever got blitzkrieg on Mogen David wine.
That's the part that's the funniest part of all of this. Is like, of all the wines of all the wines you could think of that Ivan would have gotten blasted on, Mogen David was not the one that came to mind.
True story, honest to goodness. And that story's right up there with my mother. She brings home this bottle one day. She goes, "Oh, Ivan, I just saw on television that it's good to have a little wine, a little bit every day. It's supposed to be good for you." And I'm like, okay. So I go, okay, where's this wine at? And my mom goes, "It's in the kitchen." And I pull out. First off, it's in a brown bag. That's already a red flag. It's in a brown bag. Okay. So I pull this thing out, and what's the first word that it reads off the bottle? Thunderbird. What is Thunderbird? It's fucking Ripple.
I thought you were going to say Mad Dog, but okay.
It was like this just cheap ass fucking shit. And So I looked at my mom. I'm like, Mom, I mean, are we going to watch Sanford and Son later? And she goes, why? And she goes, she got a bottle of Ripple to go with it. And she's just like, what do you mean? I said, it was $2. I go, that's why, Mom. This is the stuff that all the winos drink.
I was going to say, what, Boone's wasn't available?
No, it was just like, she got this. And then she just like seemed so dismayed because now she's got this cheap bottle of wine that she doesn't even want to associate herself with. And like, I'm pouring it out and I'm like, this isn't bad, is it? Why are you drinking that shit? I'm like, okay. So yeah, that is funny stuff though. Yeah, Mogen David, man, great.
I can't believe
Star.
You know what the worst part is? When you said it tasted like grape juice, but it doesn't taste like grape juice, it's really funny that the first reaction I had was, well, there's no way in hell Ivan could be drinking Mogen David.
Why?
Because it does kind of taste like grape juice.
Yeah, well,
it really does.
It tastes like grape juice, but it has like a twang towards the end.
Oh yeah.
But
if you're not careful, if you can drink a lot of that and then suddenly be like, why is the room spinning?
Well, that's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah, well, it's one of those alcohols where it's like
it just creeps up
you
on
can
you.
drink a lot of it and be like, I don't understand what the big deal is. I didn't even feel a thing, and then all of a sudden you got to get up and you're like, uh-oh. Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah, what about you, Jeff?
mine.
How about you, Jeff?
Mine. So we're at my aunt's for Thanksgiving, and this is, I think, I had come back from college, and we're doing Thanksgiving at my aunt's place, and there are these cornbread muffins, and I take one, and I'm like, this is great.
Yeah. I like cornbread.
And I'm like, oh wow, these are amazing. These are the best corn. I'm like, holy cow. I like take another one, and I'm like infatuated with these cornbread muffins. I mean, they're just phenomenal. So I walk over to my aunt, and I'm like, hey, these cornbread muffins that you made, they're fabulous. They're amazing. She's like, oh, okay, thank you very much. She's like, oh, thank you so much. I'm like, oh, absolutely. You know, meals going on. I've eaten because they're like these little muffins too. They're like the size of like a donut hole kind of thing. So I've like eaten a ton of these things, and they're just really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, these are some of the best cornbread muffins I've ever had. And I'm like, so I look at, as we're cleaning up, I said to my aunt, I'm like, hey, do you have the recipe for these cornbread muffins? She looks at me, she goes, I got them at KFC. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, I got them at KFC. You let me go on for 3-4 hours praising your cooking ability to create these cornbread muffins, and you got them from KFC?
Oh, that's rich.
I swear to, it's the best Thanksgiving story I got. I swear to God. It was funny. My mom was like, "You need to calm down." I'm like, she's trying to pass off the muffins from her.
I have an aunt who makes these really good cookies, and we just talked to her on the phone today, and she's going to bring some for Thanksgiving. But the thing is, she's getting older, so sometimes she's had good batches, and some batches have been not so good. But the thing is that she doesn't have this recipe written down. And so we're like, and she just makes it like on the fly. Like she doesn't she throw this in and throw that in. She doesn't have like exact measurements. So like and my sister and my mother have tried to duplicate this recipe for these cookies and just haven't turned out as good. So we're worried that some of these long cherished family recipes, we need to preserve these. For future generations.
That's called video. You make her do it in front of you.
I did that for one of my mom's recipes, and she was just so frustrated the whole time because I'm videoing her every single step.
Yeah,
it's like for prosperity.
Oh yeah, no, there was stuff that we totally lost that my grandmother used to do that I wish I had video for. But
terrible.
it's funny because it's funny because that story brings me to the other amusing story of those. This is again, there's a reason why my Passover stories are legendary, which is I'll never forget this. We're at my aunt's. Okay, we're finishing up Passover, the first night of Passover. We're having this meal, and my grandmother brought this cake for Passover. Okay,
and you thought it was kosher.
Oh, we all thought it was kosher for Passover. Until we sat there and said, I'm like, this is the best Passover cake I ever had. She's like, yeah, it's not Passover cake. I found a recipe from the Food Network.
Whoops.
And she says it rather casually, and all of us have this flabbergasted look on our faces. And the best is, I'm like, look at my mom, like, well, I'm done. No, you're not done for the week. Are you kidding me? No, you're gonna keep trying. You're just gonna forget that this happened. I'm like, nope, I've already blown it. Yep. I didn't even know I blew it. I'm like, this stuff happens at my family. It's just weird. It's like, it's just weird. Like I said, I swear, even like Thursday, we're going to my aunt's. I swear to God, there's a part of me. I'm like, so cornbread muffins? You're still gonna bring this up? Yup.
Yeah. We growing up, I didn't have Passover, but we had this thing called Lent, where we didn't eat meat.
It still exists, Mike.
Yes, it's still around, so I'm told. But when we were younger, we tried to adhere to it stronger. Mm-hmm. On Fridays, we just have PBJs for lunch, and then for Friday and dinner, we'd have fish.
Yeah, no meat. Right.
Yeah, no meat, except fish, though. And
fish.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But
we
tried to be good in that regard.
Well, yeah, then you had to give up something for what until Easter, I think it was. 40 days or something. You had to give up something for Lent.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is, when I was a kid, we used to do Thanksgiving at my house, and I gotta be honest with you, there was a part of me where I loved Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, what I found is I don't like doing Thanksgiving at my house. Because we'd have everyone in creation, and it was, okay, time to get every freaking card chair in the house. And then it was time to get every card table. And I'm like, oh my God. And they're all in the basement, by the way, and I got to bring them up the stairs.
Oh.
And I'm like, and we can never use paper plates and stuff like that. No, we got to take out the good silver.
Yeah, you got the good kind of, yeah.
All this stuff, and it's like by the time it's over, it's like, okay, now we gotta clean up. I don't want to do any of this cleanup shit. What are you talking about? You're gonna help clean up. I don't want to clean up at all. I didn't want to even have all these people. Why can't we just do this the easy way?
Just the family, just the immediate family.
Well, the problem was it was family. Most of it was family, but it was.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, you got to be family.
We had too many people who it was like you couldn't have we could have solo cups and we could have done it that way, but we had too many people in the family who would be like, ugh. And I'm like, we throw it all out and we're
done. Red Solo cup.
Yeah, wow. The problem is they all wanted to drink wine. Some of them wanted to drink wine and they weren't going to drink that out of the Solo.
They weren't going to drink no Mogen David out of no Red Solo cup.
Well, there was no Mogen David. It was usually a lot of stuff in there. And it wasn't Boone's either.
Do they even still make Mogen David anymore?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, that's what okay.
Oh yeah, dude. Every synagogue on the planet Earth uses Mogen David.
Oh, okay, yeah,
pretty much. How do I put this? It's not bad wine.
No, it's not bad wine.
It's not bad wine.
It's grape juice with a kick.
Right. It's the best way I can put it. It's grape juice with a kick, and so it doesn't cost anything worth a damn.
Right.
And it's like, yeah.
But it was fun.
I used to joke. There were times in college. It's like we need cheap drinks. And I'm like, well, we can always buy Mogen David. And of course, I'm at a conservative Methodist. You're really, what the fuck is Mogen David?
There were times instead of buying beer, I'd get a $4 bottle of Sutter Home.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
It's Sutter Home.
I sort of got it, I think.
Now they've got this thing called Barefoot, which is really pretty good. You know, and it comes in all the different flavors: the white Zinfandel, the rosé, you know, the dry, the sweet, all that. But my sister likes Zinfandel. She drinks a lot of that.
You know, it was really funny because at some point, you're in college and it's like, you don't give a shit what the hell you're drinking. It's like white, red, I don't know.
No,
just give me
no one
something
cares.
that's gonna.
No one cares as long as it got you drunk.
That's right.
Yeah, as long as it gets me drunk and it tastes good, I don't care.
That's right.
It's like
you got something to put into the voodoo punch, you know, the 55-gallon drum.
right.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was really funny. Like I can't remember one time I was at like some like nice thing, and they were like, "What kind of wine would you like?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I usually drink Boone's." Like, I don't know. What's the equivalent to Boone's strawberry or whatever the fuck it is?
Oh my gosh! Remember Bartles and James? Remember when that?
I remember that.
yeah.
Yeah, the wine coolers. Yeah.
Bartles and James was kind of done by the early '90s. It was a lot of the Seagramses.
Yeah, there was the Seagramsons. There was the Bartles.
Everybody hopped on the wine cooler.
Well, and then there's
Parade,
and then you
yeah.
had your Zimas and stuff like that too.
Yeah, the harder stuff like Red Dog and Ice House and Zima.
Ice House was bad. Ice House was.
I never liked Zima. That was awful.
I liked Zima a lot because it was
Well,
hard. It was a lot more hard.
Then you would like White Claw, because that White Claw is kind of similar to Zima.
Yeah, well, again, back in the day, I just didn't want to drink beer. I didn't want to drink beer, and I needed something that was more transportable than mixed drinks and shit. So it was like,
Yeah, so you get to the Zima, you know, you get the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay.
So what are you guys going to
and then Jack Daniels started coming out with all their little pre-mixed stuff, and it was like, oh, okay, well now we're talking.
Came out with this shit too.
What are you guys going to be drinking Thursday?
Me? Well, okay, my niece, Melissa, is actually throwing Thanksgiving at her place for the first time. So it's going to be an all new event. I mean, all the family members at her place.
What do you think you'll be drinking?
Well, probably. I know there's going to be beer, so I'm sure there's going to be Coronas. There's going to be Old Stool. What else?
Old Stool. Old style. Got it.
and you know, things of that nature. Then of course I'm sure there's going to be Barefoot, Zinfandel, Barefoot, rosé, and then of course there's probably somebody's going to bring some coquito, which that's our tradition in our heritage, where everybody takes and we get around this big pot and we pour in all the ingredients, and everybody takes a turn spooning in the ingredients. It's kind of a coconut drink with a kick. I mean, because we use Bacardi, 125 proof, and then it's made with cinnamon. It's made with coconut milk, Coco Lopez. It's got all these different, vanilla. It's got all these flavors. It's kind of like an eggnoggy type of thing, but it tastes more like coconuts than eggnog. But really very good. And then we poured into like the bottles that the original booze came in, and then we had that too. Oh. And that's kind of a family tradition. Somebody put in the cinnamon, somebody put in the Coco Lopez, somebody puts in the alcohol. We all just mix it together. All of us takes turns. It's kind of like between that and pasteles, where we shuck the plantains. We run the plantains through a very unsafe grinder, and then we make this meal out of the plantains. We put this meat in the middle, fold it up in aluminum paper. We make a thing called pasteles. You can boil them. It's a flat taco is what it is. Oh, not taco, enchilada. So really very good.
Okay.
So, but as far as as far as the drink thing, yeah, that's where we're going there.
Well, what are you drinking, Jeff?
What are you drinking?
I'm probably just going to end up drinking water or soda or something like that. It's probably...
You staying dry?
Well, it's a smaller family gathering, so, and I'm probably going to end up having to drive back from the city.
Okay.
So it's one of those where odds are...
You? Mike?
I'll just have a couple 7-7s. I think I'm done with beer, honestly. I had a beer with dinner a few weeks ago, and man, it just did not agree with me. And then like last week, I had a Wednesday. I was editing down the podcast last week, and I just I'll just crack a beer and I'll listen. I couldn't finish it. So, you know what? I think I'm done with beer. I still got my hard ciders sometimes, but I think I might just have just a couple of mixed drinks just to go with the atmosphere. But
see, hard cider for me, I'll do. I really.
Oh, I can do hard cider too.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard beer I got away from a long time ago.
I was never really a big beer drinker myself. I mean, usually I'm a bit of a mixer. Remember, I used to make the park home punches when we were up north and everything like that. That was kind of like my drink choice. The orange juice, the pineapple juice, the grenadine, then 2 shots of Parrot Bay, and off you go. On that whole tip, which. But yeah, I mean, I've never been a heavy duty beer drinker. I mean, really. But it was all that type of a thing. Yeah, basically, most of it was sodas and waters, but when I got older, I kind of gravitated more like the mixed drink. I never did much
but
the beer.
We won't have too many, drinkers at the house. We'll just have like, my brother-in-law, he'll have a beer or maybe like a Captain Coke. So we'll just have like the spice.
Will he do the pose?
No, he doesn't do the pose. He doesn't do the pose.
I think you have to demand.
You have to do the pose if you do the Captain Morgan. Yes.
Not doing the pose, Mike. It's dumb.
Then you're not
Captain.
So too bad.
Yeah. I'm not serving you then.
No, that's right.
No, I'm just kidding.
We don't serve their kind here.
Arr.
So I guess the war on Thanksgiving is over, Jeff.
Yeah, by the end of this episode,
we got to fess up.
Yeah, wasn't really much of a war to begin with.
No,
we didn't get very far.
But Thanksgiving it was that Halloween snow. That's what was put the dent in our plans. Our neighbors across the street put their tree up over the weekend, and it's lit in their front window. It's like
I've got 4 apartments here with their lights already.
I drove past
the windows.
2 houses yesterday with their lights up.
Yeah, we got 4 apartments here.
Jeez. Well, so
in fairness, there is one other thing I will say there is one other aspect that's a little different this year than most.
There is another.
Which is that, usually there's at least another week of November after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
This year,
Thanksgiving's late this year.
Yeah, real late.
And people getting that itch.
So, well, not only that, it's, okay, how many people are really going to put up their lights after that weekend on Thanksgiving? I mean, really, in reality, I hate to say it, you're at a point where it's like, okay, this weekend was a good weekend to put up your lights.
Yeah.
It
was. Yeah, the weather was favorable, so it would have been a good idea to put the decorations up outside the house over the weekend. But a lot of people had to use that weekend to finish getting the leaves out because a lot of trees in my area still had a lot of leaves on them. Yeah, so we had to finish getting the leaves out of the yard.
Mm-hmm.
So another Thanksgiving is in the can.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
By the time listen to this.
Well, the day we're recording this is exactly 1 month until Christmas. So,
right.
Christmas,
and I have yet to play one Christmas tune.
Have you heard about this thing about where it's starting December 1st called Whamageddon, where if you get caught hearing Wham's Last Christmas in any way, shape, or form, you're out?
Wham.
What?
There's I guess there's a Facebook game that's out there. There's an internet game out there called Whamageddon, which is your objective is to avoid Wham's Last Christmas from December 1st through Christmas Eve. And if in any way, shape, or form you realize or acknowledge that that's the song that you heard, then you're out.
Well, I won't last past Friday because I work in retail. So
can I admit right off the bat that there's a part of me where I want to keep putting it on my feed on purpose?
What about covers of Last Christmas? Or does it have to be Wham?
I don't think it matters. I think as long as you recognize that it is one.
But it has to be Wham. So
Well,
you can use covers to avoid that.
Cover, I think if it's a cover, it counts. I don't know. All I know is I'm not playing this game. If anything, I feel like being the reverse person, which is, and now here's Last Christmas again. And here's Last Christmas again. And here's Last Christmas
we'll
again.
have all month to talk about our least favorite Christmas songs on the radio. So.
Oh, the problem is that isn't one of my least favorite, which is why when I saw it, I'm like, why do I not want to play one of the Christmas songs I actually like? This is stupid. No, if anything, this is going to go reverse. I'm going to make sure that everybody gets knocked out of this stupid game.
If I lose, we all lose.
Yeah, seriously. It's like, I mean, seriously, in the last 40 years, there's only so many decent Christmas songs.
But speaking of Christmas songs, too, there, Jeff and Mike.
No, let's not speak about Christmas songs because it's not Thanksgiving yet.
I know it's not Thanksgiving yet, but just this one little point. And I'm sure you heard about the big who-to-do about trying to rewrite Maybe It's Cold Outside.
Well, that was controversy last year.
No, but now they rewrote John Legend and
John Legend and Kelly Clarkson, they rewrote it, yeah. That's fucking lame.
I haven't heard it yet.
It's fucking stupid.
Was it? I haven't heard it yet.
Ignorant.
I'll cut him some slack.
It all goes back to what I said before. That's like going back to the Tower of Pisa and putting it upright and say, okay, now it looks the way it's supposed to look. Certain things happen at the time they happen, folks.
I'll have to look.
Don't like the way it turned out.
After Thanksgiving, I will give it a listen, and I'll be curious to see what it sounds like. Cause I'm
going to listen to it too.
There's a picture. There's a caption. I'm going to read this caption. There's a picture of a disc jockey behind the control board with headphones on with a microphone saying, "I'm sorry, we're no longer allowed to play Baby It's Cold Outside. But anyway, here's Cardi B telling everyone to eat her ass."
Yeah, I know. I've seen that one.
Wow. Ooh, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh, the country.
Hey, wait. We should probably end here, but Ivan, did you see any of the Grammy nomination?
Grammy nomination?
No, I didn't see none of the Grammy.
Yeah, that neither.
Those the AMAs were last weekend?
Yeah, this past weekend, yeah.
Oh, as far as the AMAs, here's one. Okay, you've got Carole King, great songwriter and everything. Okay, and of course she ends up giving the award to doggone it, what's her name? I forgot. Kelly Clarkson.
Okay.
All right.
I'm just like, all right.
What's wrong with Kelly Clarkson?
No, aren't most of her songs about her relationships and things like that, or am I getting her confused with somebody else?
Okay, that's like most of the women artists in the last 20 years, but okay.
No, but some are more voracious about it than others.
I like her music. She's okay. I mean, she's not any worse than. Well, I mean, if we're going to talk about that, then really, in reality, I mean, what's her name's the one you really don't want to piss off, Carrie Underwood.
Yeah.
Talking about dug your keys to the side of his pretty little souped up 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
You know, busted out windows and shit. It's like, don't piss her off.
Okay, Carrie Underwood.
Or make sure you put your car inside on that.
Taylor Swift will write a fucking album if you break up with her.
Yeah, really. I was saying Taylor Swift will write a whole album about you.
That's who was the one that won the award. Taylor Swift.
She won the Artist of the Decade or something.
Right, there you go. That's the one.
And she's having some big argument with some producer or somebody who's got all her stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, that's whatever. Some drummed up controversy over it. And unfortunately, the dude's getting like death threats from our fans now because they don't know who Tool is.
I was going to say, you went there before I got that. Damn it. That's still the funniest thing about that. Who the fuck is Tool? Guys? You know the best is? So that's coming out opposite of Rise of Skywalker. Do you think we'll find any posts from Twitter from her fans going, I don't understand why all these people are going to Star Wars instead of watching Cats?
Oh
Yeah,
my
right.
God. I saw the rushes to that. It's more.
I've seen new ones. They're better than the
Coming
ones
from
we saw in
Ivan,
summer.
that's scary, man.
That's mortifying. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No.
In fairness, the one I saw on TV was better than the one I saw
On the internet?
the one I saw in the summer from Comic-Con. The one in the summer from Comic-Con was
Yeah,
just
that was
mortifying.
creepy as fuck, man.
But it was funny because my mom saw the one with the commercial that you're talking about, Ivan.
Yeah.
And it was funny because my mom and my aunt were like, well, we'll go see Cats and you'll go see Star Wars. She took one look at that and she's like, maybe we're not going to see Cats. Like, I told you it's creepy as fuck.
The thing is, from what I saw, and the fact that they're relying on all this star power to propel the movie, okay, and not only that, the CGI is not fluid. It almost seems to get in the way of all the dancing things, and then of course, with the tails and all that bullshit. But then the costumes themselves, it's almost like this thin skin over these human people, and I'm just like,
the only thing that scares me
creepy.
about this,
yeah.
the one thing that scares me about this is stuff like this is when people start sitting there and saying things like, oh, the American public doesn't want to see musicals on the big screen anymore, which is a lie.
Yeah.
Okay. But if this bombs, everyone's going to sit there and and there are going to be people making comments about this.
They're gonna make it the button of every known joke of why you don't want to put musicals back.
Well,
on
they're still making a West Side Story.
Right. I mean, in
Okay.
fairness, but look at all the stuff that happened. Like, for a while, we were getting like live musicals on TV.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, that went like by the wayside.
Yeah, it's kind of lost
Okay.
its
It kind of
popularity.
lost its edge.
Yeah.
All right,
Right.
just like The Greatest Showman, okay, with Zendaya and
Yeah,
all
that
the
was a
rest.
big success.
That was a big success. It was
With
a great
singing
thing to
Wolverine.
go.
They're doing a sequel.
Oh, really?
Right.
They
Really?
really are. Yeah. When I went to go see Hugh Jackman, he talked about that they're in the process of developing a sequel.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, they're doing. They're
Because I like that movie. I like that movie a lot.
right. Well, in La La Land, I know there's
think-
some people who didn't like it. I liked the music. I really did.
I got to see La La Land. So yeah, I mean I've heard about it, but I've not seen it.
For people who were never originally musicians or song and dance people, I was impressed by how much they were able to pull off. There were certainly some interesting songs that I liked. It would have been interesting to see if they had gotten some real song and dance people, how much more better that would have looked. But I enjoyed it.
Well, I mean, song and dance people are kind of a rare breed nowadays that are specifically song and dance people. I mean, that's more of a Broadway sensibility than an actual film sensibility.
Well, but you'd be surprised how many people were talking about that kind of mix and match. Like, I mean, for example, Hugh Jackman falls into that where, I mean, he's freaking Wolverine and yet he's been on Broadway in quite a few things, and he played Jean Valjean in Les Miserables on screen.
Les Miserables.
Yeah.
Les Miserables.
The only other thing I can think of before we go is, I know Mike mentioned something, and I kind of want to get to it before we get off, which is you mentioned about where some of these franchises are going at this point.
Yeah, and Tim Miller had an interview apparently about how he couldn't get along with James Cameron, so that's partially as to why the Terminator movie bombed. And then, of course, we know about how Tim Miller only directed Deadpool 1 because Ryan Reynolds was too hands-on. But, hats off, but maybe it's just Tim Miller's problem, not James Cameron and Ryan Reynolds. Maybe. But anyway, but some of these franchises, like I said, I liked Terminator Dark Fate a lot. And it's unfortunate that it's going to cause Paramount to lose a lot of money. But some of these franchises are just not as they're played out in the public eye.
Or in fairness, they're put at times, or
it's bad timing.
About them, bad timing, or there's certain things about how you're doing them that it's not working. I mean, we talked. Ivan wasn't on the show last week, but we talked about the fact that if you're going to sell Charlie's Angels, one of the reasons why the one from the early 2000s worked was you had real star power. You had Cameron Diaz, and you had Lucy Liu, and you had Drew Barrymore, and Bill Murray was in it too. I mean,
he was Bosley.
Right, you had real star power to it, and in fairness, I like Kristen Stewart. She's okay, but Kristen Stewart's divisive to some people, and in fairness, there wasn't enough star power in that group.
No,
there just wasn't. And you needed more of it than you got.
And Elizabeth Banks, she was Charlie, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think so. Yeah.
Right, and in fairness, that wasn't that's not enough between Elizabeth Banks
and Kristen Stewart. It's just not enough as a draw.
Right, exactly. Now maybe if you had some big name superstar as a villain to play off of, that could have been interesting, but that didn't work. And Dr. Sleep, I don't know. I'm not a horror guy, so I can't speak to that. But
you want to put a horror movie closer to Halloween, not after it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't.
Maybe they'll make more money, obviously, after the digital release and next year or whatnot.
See, the problem is that's the problem. The problem is at this point is that in some ways I kind of laugh because it's like, they'll recoup some of this in the end with all, with digital and all that stuff. What unfortunately it is a lot of the money is based on box office, not the stuff that you're talking about, Mike, which is unfortunate because it's kind of silly.
Yeah.
Because they'll make more than enough. I don't know. I always laugh because
And speaking of which, I had a friend of mine at game night last night saying, "Hey, Mike, I want to borrow Dark Phoenix. Did you get it?" I was like, "Fuck no, I didn't get Dark Phoenix."
God, that was $6. That was $6 I want back.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was really bad. I saw it in the theater on a Tuesday night, and that was just.
Yeah. Sometime, and obviously in December, we'll do our
bad.
Best and Worst of 2019.
Yeah, that was really bad.
Yeah.
That was like, I'm like watching it going, good Lord, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my God, how? And it was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. Because I saw Age of Apocalypse. And there was
I didn't see Apocalypse.
I saw Age of Apocalypse, and there was a part of me where I was sitting there watching it going, oh my God, this is so long. When is this going to end? But I've seen bits and pieces of it like on TV, and I'm like, maybe it was a little better than I thought. So I figured, all right, fine, I will give I'll give the Rise of whatever the fucking
Dark
name
Phoenix
is. Yeah, whatever the hell movie it was, I'll give it a shot. And it just was not very.
So like I said, some franchises have just been maybe just done or played out or temporarily just not holding the public interest, but other war movies are just bad. And I don't think the Charlie's Angels movie got really a lot of bad write-ups. Just bland. Just kind of
right. There was nothing that
no toast.
Like I said, the other thing is that it's not like I don't recognize the other two women who they chose.
Right.
Now, in fairness, maybe they are somebody for that skews for younger viewers, but based on who came out to see the movie, doesn't seem like that was the case. It just seems like they needed to figure out a way to add more star power and to figure out a way to do something interesting with it. And
it just wasn't. That wasn't the case.
Maybe
I don't
they
think
should
that-
have gone the 8-episode Netflix arc instead of a full-length motion picture.
it's
If
interesting
they,
you
8
say that.
30-minute episodes maybe would have fared better than.
Well, didn't they try
That one
to-
whole 90-minute, 2-hour movie.
Didn't ABC try to see? I remember ABC tried to bring back Charlie's Angels. It wasn't that long ago for TV,
Hmm.
and I know this because Minka Kelly's on it. And Minka Kelly is hello,
Mhm.
and from Friday Night Lights, and
No.
she's you know who that is? You'll know who this is. It's the woman who plays Dove on Titans.
Oh yeah, she's pretty cute.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
I like her in that white wig on the show.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, seriously, that's why I kind of laugh, because I'm like, give us. I mean, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, who could you have put in that movie? Because the problem, and you're gonna laugh, which is, okay, if you've got Kristen Stewart, now I almost hate to say this way. All right, now you got to find somebody who isn't a white girl, who's younger, who you can put in this movie. I'm trying to think of names off the top of my head. I mean, who could we cast in this thing that people would go, okay,
Maybe
yeah, absolutely.
Maybe if Selena Gomez went to the gym, maybe she could get some martial arts
Isn't
lessons.
she sick?
I don't know.
I think she's still fighting off certain stuff.
Yeah,
or
she
whatnot.
does. Yeah, she's been ill for quite a while.
Really?
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
But
Well, I
what's
didn't
her
know
name?
this.
I bet.
Yeah.
But it's
yeah.
funny you say that. Like Zendaya, although she's a little young, she's a little too young for that.
Zendaya, yeah, who was
Yeah, she's a little
MJ,
too young
yeah.
for that.
She's a little young.
She's very thin.
Right, she'd have to bulk up a little. Well, okay.
Oh yeah,
Stewart
she would
is
have to bulk
exactly-
up in order to at least be somewhat of a solid body.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not repairing the Charlie's Angels franchise has no interest in me. So
Well, I think it could be repaired. I think it really could.
sure it could, but I'm not the right person to ask about that.
I mean, there's a part of me where I'm like, here's an idea. This is going to sound crazy, but okay, if you wanted to mix the previous version with the current version, you think it's not like Lucy Liu's got a lot going on.
You're right about that.
Although she did just get done doing all that elementary stuff on CBS, but seriously, Lucy Liu isn't exactly like kicking down doors for movie offers. You could have put Lucy Liu as like the experienced angel with her and Kristen Stewart, and then maybe had somebody in between there.
Maybe if
It
they
might
did
have worked.
like a passing of the torch.
Right, exactly.
Right.
You could even have her die in the movie or something crazy like that, which would have been interesting.
Yeah, the
That
blaze
is
of glory,
interesting.
the heroic sacrifice.
Yeah, exactly. Or something happens where they
See-
screw up the mission and
See,
something
we're
like
writing a better Charlie's Angels movie right here.
So there
You know
go.
what? It's really funny you say that. We should totally. Sometimes I laugh because it's like we really should sit down, like write a script about something and be done with and see where it goes. But yeah,
I'd be down with that.
yeah. Speaking of down, we're way down on time.
Yeah, we're way over this week.
Yeah, we're way over. So,
All right. So you want to tell everybody where they can find us, Mike?
Why, sure.
Please and thank you. I said please.
No, I'm just creating a comedic pause. We're on Instagram and Twitter at SOTRT Podcast. We're on YouTube. Click the bell, subscribe. You know when new content drops. We're on Spotify. We're on Podbean. We're on Anchor, Google, and Apple. Leave us a review if you'd like. We'd appreciate it very, very much. We're on Facebook. That's where you'll see all the crazy news stories. Shout out to Scott for our sister show. Or brother show. I don't know if you want to call it. Sibling show. I think we'll do that.
or gender neutral show.
Yes. For News of the Squared coming later in the week. And, of course, you can email us at sotrtpodcast@gmail.com. So happy Thanksgiving, you guys.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
And
Eat
to you,
lots
our
of-
listeners, as well.
Yes, and
And don't
Eat-
beat the crap out of your neighbor on Friday.
no, please, go peacefully.
And
All right?
be nice with your family on Thanksgiving. no fights.
Right.
No political talk, please.
No.
Don't start a sentence with
just
so
watch
Trump.
football and eat the turkey and have a good time.
And full of sleep. And drink a lot. And, stuff like that.
Down a bottle of Mogen David.
Under the table with Ivan, with Mogen David.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
With KFC muffins.
Think that's the title this week. Happy Thanksgiving. See y'all next time.
Catch up with you next time.